Make sure you hit that like, comment, and subscribe button right below. Okay, let's get into it. Everyone, and I mean everyone, is talking about NVIDIA. But you know what? The real story, the one that actually controls the entire $15 trillion AI economy, it's happening just beneath the surface. Today, we're going to peel back all the layers and expose the hidden power structure that is truly running the AI revolution. And trust me, by the end of this, you are going to see the whole picture. So let's start with the name on everyone's lips, NVIDIA. I mean, look at this number. Its market cap is a mind-bending $4.5 trillion. To put that into perspective for you, that is larger than the entire economy of most countries on Earth. They are, without a single doubt, the engine of this entire AI revolution. But, and this is the question that changes everything, what if the king is just one piece of a much, much larger empire? What if NVIDIA's power, as absolutely immense as it is, depends entirely on this hidden network of other giants? Well, that's exactly what we're going to expose today. All right, so let's just lock in what we already know. Layer one of this whole power stack is, of course, NVIDIA, the king of the AI boom. This is the company building the absolute foundational layer for pretty much everything that comes next. I mean, their dominance is just staggering. You've got that $4.5 trillion valuation, sure, but they also have over 80% of the entire AI compute market. Their H100 and these new Blackwell GPUs, look, they're not just computer chips. They are literally the picks and shovels in a digital gold rush. That makes NVIDIA the foundational layer of this whole new world. So now let's move to the next layer, and you'll see how this all builds. If NVIDIA is building the engines, then our next players, well, they own all the real estate. I want you to meet the cloud's trillion-dollar landlords. This is where AI actually lives, breathes, and scales. And here they are, the two absolute titans of cloud real estate, Microsoft Azure and Amazon Web Services. So over here on the left, you've got Azure pulling in over $75 billion, almost entirely fueled by its partnership with OpenAI. And they're operating over 400 data centers. Then on the right, you have AWS, the longtime developer's backbone, boasting over $280 billion in total revenue. But here's the crucial part. These two companies are the single biggest buyers of NVIDIA's chips. They're the ones building the massive server farms where all these AI applications are deployed. Microsoft's CEO, Satya Nadella, he just captures the scale of this change perfectly. He said, "We are in the midst of the AI platform shift." This isn't just some tech trend, folks. It is a generational change in how we compute, and these cloud landlords are standing right at the center of it all. So we've got the engines, and we've got the real estate. But who actually builds the foundations for that real estate? Who lays the plumbing that connects everything? It's time to peel back another layer and meet the hardware's hidden architects. These are the companies that make this physical boom even possible. First step is a company called TSMC. They're a semiconductor foundry, which is a fancy way of saying they are the factory that physically makes the chips. And here's the absolute kicker. TSMC is the exclusive manufacturer for NVIDIA's most powerful GPUs. Let me say that again, exclusive. Without TSMC's cutting-edge fabrication plants, there is no H100, there is no Blackwell, there is no AI boom. It really is that simple. And then you have Broadcom, truly the unsung hero of the AI data center. They provide what's called the networking fabric. The best way to think about it is like a nervous system. You can have 1 million NVIDIA chips sitting in a warehouse, but if they can't talk to each other at lightning speed, they're basically useless bricks. Broadcom builds that high-speed plumbing that turns that whole warehouse full of GPUs into one single cohesive supercomputer. They are absolutely essential for scale. Okay, so we have totally established the hardware stock. Now let's move up to where all that value is being unlocked on top of all that silicon. This, right here, is the AI software gold rush. This is where companies are turning that raw compute power into tangible, incredible business results. And Palantir is just the perfect example of this gold rush in action. Just look at this chart. Their fourth quarter revenue skyrocketed from $827 million to over $1.4 billion in a single year. That's a 70% surge. This isn't just hype. This is the direct result of insane real-world demand from governments and huge corporations that are all scrambling to deploy AI. And, Palantir's CEO, Alex Karp, was not shy about it. He was blunt, calling it, and I quote, indisputably the best results in tech this decade. Now that is the kind of confidence you see from a company that is riding a tidal wave of demand, and it just proves that unbelievable value is being created at the software layer. And that brings us to the very, very top of the stack, the brain, the intelligence layer. This is where the great AI model war is being fought, a super high-stakes battle to build the dominant operating system for intelligence itself. The scale of this war is it's staggering. To even compete, Elon Musk's xAI is building a supercomputer called Colossus that's going to be powered by over 1 million NVIDIA H100 GPUs. A million. This is not some little research project. This is a brute force bet that the biggest computer on Earth will build the smartest AI. So here are the main combatants right now. First, you've got OpenAI's GPT 5.2, which is really focused on agentic tool use, and it's deeply embedded in that Microsoft ecosystem. Next, there's Google's Gemini 3, which is a multimodal beast, integrated across their entire suite of products. And finally, you have xAI's Grok 5, which is aiming to leverage real-time data from X and Tesla. Each one of them is fighting for a completely different strategic high ground.
And the pressure inside these labs is just immense. Sam Altman of OpenAI used this really powerful analogy, comparing the AI race to the start of a pandemic. And that CodeRed mentality he talks about, it's real. They truly believe that the actions they take right now will have an exponentially greater impact than anything they do later on. They simply cannot afford to fall behind.
So, okay, after seeing all these layers, what is the big secret? What's the takeaway? It's not about one company dominating all the others. The real secret to this $15 trillion AI economy is something called radical interdependency. The truth is, no single player here can exist without all of the others. So here it is, the entire AI power stack all laid out. It starts with NVIDIA, the king, building the engines. But those engines need a place to run, right? So the landlords, Microsoft and Amazon, provide the real estate. But that real estate needs a foundation, which is where the architects, TSMC and Broadcom, come in. On top of all of that, companies like Palantir build the valuable applications. And then finally, at the very top, labs like OpenAI and Google are building the intelligence, the brain that runs the whole show. Every single layer is critical, and each one depends entirely on the one below it. And this brings us to one last, really fascinating question. Now that you understand the full stack, where do you think the next trillion-dollar company is going to emerge? Is it going to be in one of these existing layers or somewhere else entirely new? I am genuinely curious to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for joining this explainer.